Hello, hello, and welcome. We had some technical difficulties there, and that is just a part of life. We just have to work our way through the kinks. And if this is your first time here, my name is Marlene, and this is Marlene's Home and Garden channel. All right. So, as you come on, we always love if you can leave your comments to just let us know that you are there so we can acknowledge you, because I like doing that and I appreciate every single one of you that comes on every single time. And of course, my replay people, because sometimes we have more people that watch the replay than people that watch the actual video. But either way, whether you're coming on the replay or you're coming on live with me, I so much appreciate you. And of course, be sure to give me a thumbs up if this information is helpful to you. So let me know if you can hear me so we can go ahead and get on with it. All right. So it says first one. Okay. All right. Welcome, welcome, Jared. Welcome, welcome. I guess you like spinach, huh? And with that being said, on today's video, today's live, we are actually going to be featuring spinach. And let me show you. There are two ways you can have spinach. Let me just grab two of them for you. Let me push it back a little bit here because I want you to be able to see everything that we are doing. And of course, my husband is going to be joining me, of course, because he typically does. Let's see who else we have. He says he can hear me, so that's awesome. Let me show you the two different types of spinach. So this is going to be the fresh one that we are going to be using. I hope the light's not too much for you there. And I like organic stuff, as much as I can. Not for every single thing, but I try to get organic for spinach, depending on what I'm doing. And we are doing two recipes today. Let me show you the other one that we're going to be using. And that would be frozen spinach. So you have the option as well too to use frozen spinach for the recipe that I'm going to be doing. Well, we're doing two. The first one is going to be the spinach dip, and I promise you, you're going to absolutely love it if you try to make this. You make it for guests when they come over, they're going to absolutely love it. Every time that I serve this somewhere, I always get like 2 thumbs up. If they can have 3, they'll give me 3 thumbs up because they really love it. So you're getting a little treat today by getting this recipe, right? Anyway, this one is frozen. I just wanted to show you, how it can be used. I'm going to be putting it back in the refrigerator shortly. And of course, we have the one that is the fresh spinach. And we're going to be using this one for our soup. So we're doing 2 things today. The first one is going to be the soup that we're making, because it takes a little bit longer because I already pre-prepped the things, most of the things for the spinach dip. So we're going to be using these, and these are called cannelli beans. And these are they're basically white kidney beans. That's what they are. I mean, I discovered that because I've seen them before. I've tried to use them before, but until now, I'm just like, okay, I didn't know that's what they were. They're white kidney beans. You can see they look a lot like it. So take a look at it there. Swing it around the right way for you there. So that's what they look like. And this is one of my prides and joys this week, which would be my cilantro, which I harvested. I did my first harvest from my hydroponics growing system, which I did a video on that before, showing you how to set everything up. And then I went ahead and actually showed you how I went from seed. I showed you all the steps from seed right to the harvest. And guys, herbs, they are absolutely wonderful for you. They say cilantro specifically that this helps to purify your blood. And this is just what studies have shown. So I said, you know what? If that's the case, I want my blood to be purified. So I'm going to be using a lot of it. So the recipe for this soup doesn't necessarily call for cilantro, but I'm going to be using some of this today. So let me take a look at the chat and see what we are dealing with so far over here. All right. So we have Lorna. Welcome, welcome, Lorna. So glad to see you there. And let's see, we have Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee says hello. And of course, we also had Jared on there before. So please go ahead and leave, talk to each other. I love when you do that, you converse with each other in the chat, and it just helps to keep things going. So be sure to do that. And, you can get your phone and share it out with anyone, anyone that you may want to, that you think would be interested in making this recipe, because, you want to have them join in as early in the start as possible. So that way they can see all the steps that it's involved. Of course, the option is there for them to go back to the replay and, catch up from there. So yeah, be sure to share it out, whether you share it out now or you share it out, on the replay. And like I said, we did have a little technical difficulties earlier, so we started a little bit later than I wanted to, but I'm just glad that we got it fixed and everything is up and running. So we're going to go through step by step. Now, spinach, guys, just to say that spinach is so good for you. Honestly, I mean, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I grew up in Jamaica. So, we didn't really have spinach much in Jamaica when I was growing up. What we had was callaloo. You know, some people know what callaloo looks like. It's green. It's in the amaranth family, like amaranthus. You know, different types of amaranth that are there. But we basically use callaloo to cook. You know, like steam it and cook it with different types of things. When I came over here, I couldn't get it, so I had to go ahead and use spinach instead. And honestly, it comes a very, very close second to the callaloo that we have in the Caribbean. I'm not sure if there are any other countries out there that have callaloo, but some people call it amaranth. It's in the amaranth family. But the spinach was a real, real blessing because I said, "Oh my gosh." And then initially, when I just got here, didn't we didn't have a garden. You know, we're in an apartment, so I wasn't able to like even try to plant them for me. And for some reason, callaloo doesn't do as well in my area where I live. So I'm going to try again this year to see maybe some containers, some grow bags might help me with that. So we'll see how it goes. So anyway, we're gonna get started shortly. Let me take a look over here. So we have Johnson Home Decor and Lifestyle. Welcome, 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 Mondale. So glad to have you. Welcome to the party. Let me try to set this thing up a little bit here because I want to make sure that you guys can see exactly what I am doing. It's like I said, guys, you know, you have to try this recipe. It is so good. You are gonna absolutely love it. Make sure we have you showing it good right there. All right, so we're gonna start off with the soup first because, like I said, the spinach dip that I'm gonna be making it is really the boss for the show today. But most of the things are already pre-prepared because I use frozen spinach for mine, and you steam it a little bit, and you pretty much put it in a double boiler. Let me show you. Most people know what a double broiler is, but just in case you don't have to use a double broiler if you don't have one. But this is what it looks like. There are holes in the bottom of this right here. And then you put whatever you're gonna steam in the top part. You put the water in the bottom down here, and I see some hearts. Thank you so much for that. You put some water down in the bottom, usually about like halfway up to about here. And you know when it's heating up the water, when it starts to boil, and you put the lid or the top on here with your spinach in there, and that's what I have in here right now. Let me see if I can show it to you. So that's what the spinach is like. So it's in there. And it has to be cold. So you have to make this ahead of time. So if you're doing it for a party, it could be game day. You know, football season is coming up. I mean, I guess, you know, all the other things that we do for sports, the seasons are coming up. So if you wanted to do that, you have to make your spinach, you know, steam it from the night before in here, something like this. If you don't have a double broiler, don't worry too much about it. You could just put it in a little bit of water and just, you know, basically not have it stay for too long. Not have it stay for too long. And you just go ahead, and once it's, you know, soft enough, then you go ahead and you start with it. Also, some people may not have frozen spinach where they are. It's not available. You can use a fresh spinach, but basically what you want to do is to sweat them a little bit. So just get a little bit of water in a pot and then put it in there and just have it steam down until it shrinks down a little bit because you don't want to have the spinach like this. It's going to be too much in it. So let it steam down a little bit if you're going to be using that for your spinach, but we'll get to it. This we're actually going to use the spinach. We're actually going to use this for our soup. And the weather is so cold. Oh my gosh, guys! I don't know where you are. Tell me. You know, I mean, you don't have to tell me where you are exactly because I'm in the southeastern United States. And when I tell you that we had some brutal days, not this week here, like up until Monday of this week, but prior to that, like 5 days, it was so cold over here. We went down to like 10 degrees Fahrenheit overnight, which is it's not the coldest we have ever been in our region, but it was very cold. We are not used to that kind of a cold. And you already know me, guys. I'm from Jamaica, so of course I'm a tropical girl. So I'm just saying, I stayed in the whole. I was so glad I didn't have to went to the office this last week because it was just brutal. And I even did a video showing like how to protect your plants from cold weather like that. And if you're trying to get a report on that, they all survived. The pansies survived, the kale survived, the camellia survived. They all are still with us. So yay. So I'm gonna put this back in the refrigerator. I was just trying to show it to you like what it looks like so you can use it for what you're doing. So let me go ahead and put that away. And then let me see the comments here. So okay, so we're saying hi to everyone here. And just wanted to see you. Thankful for all the prayers. Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I did want to say, since Lorna is on here, it's early in the game, but let me just go ahead and say anyway, Lorna did lose her mom recently, and you have my deepest condolences, that of myself and my family. And we just, want to say that our prayers are with you, that everything will be okay, just take it one step at a time. It's not easy. I've been through it myself, and anyone who has. Until you go through that, we really won't fully understand what someone is going through. But we're here if you ever need to talk or anything. And that's what I like about this community, that we try to help each other as much as we can in the different things that we have to go through in this life. So Lorna, we're praying for you. And again, we're here if you need anything. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to start off with the soup, like I said, because that's gonna take a little bit more time. So the first thing I'm gonna do, guys, is to I'm gonna bring my husband in.
Water.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it was something else today. Sometimes you just have some challenges in life, and it's kind of like, but we're gonna get through this, right? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we're gonna go ahead and do it. Because normally he's the one who does the onions for me, because I have eczema, unfortunately. So that causes my skin to have sensitivity. So like when I'm doing onions like this, if I'm gonna be cutting them up, once I get past peeling it, I have to put gloves on, or he basically does it, because for some reason when I start cutting them up, the chemicals that come off of there, which are really actually good for you inside of your body. It's good for fighting off certain types of diseases. The very strong powers in there. Allison is one of them, and just different things that are in there. It's on the bed. He's coming. But anyway, yeah, so like I'm saying, usually he peels them for me. So you may see me put my gloves on, just depending on how I'm feeling. But I can at least peel the skin off of the onion. And guys, like I said, onions are so good for you, and they add flavor. I've only known one person in my life who was actually allergic to onions. And so when that person came by, I kind of had to leave it out of my the meals that I was making. So people have different things, and you have to be considerate of people's, whether it's an aversion, or if it's a case of or if it's an allergy. We have to try to remember people like that. People have different things that happen in their life, and we just try to work with them as well as we can. All right, so I'm about to hand it over now. So he came at a good time. So I'm going to give it to him so he can go ahead and start working on it, because just the bottom off. And they say that's the part that has the... Usually if you don't want to cry from onions, they say start from the top and then go to the bottom, because the bottom is what has most of the irritants in it. So yeah, just something to bear in mind. So all right, I'm go ahead and wash my hands off, and he's going to go ahead and
What you want to cut up? Dice.
Yeah, I need for them to be diced. Thank you.
How small?
Half of that one to be diced, please.
Okay. All right, no problem. So I'll start from the
Did you
top.
say hello to the people already?
I apologize. It's just been one of those long days, man. Oh
Yes.
my Lord. You figure on the weekend you get a moment. I've been up since 5:30. Yeah, but it's a good tired. Got a lot done. Out in the community helping people and stuff like that. So
yeah, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah. For everybody's getting the weather is better, treating you better. Like Marlene was saying, was 10 degrees below, which is about minus 12 degrees Celsius. So
it was 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but it's minus 12 Celsius. So yeah, that is way below freezing. So yeah.
Yeah, that was cold for us. So we were, because today we had so much rain, guys. But I'm telling you, if I said, because when I was leaving the store today, there's this lady, an older lady outside, and I said to her, it's raining a lot right now, but honestly, for me, I prefer any day to have the rain and be like, what was it, like about in the 60 degrees or something, as opposed to being at 10. And the worst thing, guys, is that we didn't have any snow. I'm like, it's gonna be that cold, let it snow, but we didn't have any snow for all of those days that we were there in those colder temperatures. So just to say, stuff happens. What you gonna do? We're just thankful that we made it through, and I'm glad my plants made it through.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had to cover some of the plants out there because it went that cold, just to make sure that they would survive. Just want to give them a nice chance, move forward. Oh,
Wendell was saying hi.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't have
he's
my
busy
glasses
chopping.
on,
Yeah,
so I can't
yeah.
see nothing.
That don't sound good.
He's
Using a knife.
I want to make sure my fingers are still here, right? So, yeah.
He's using a knife. That don't sound so good, right?
Yeah. I can
Anyway,
see, but not. Yeah,
you can't see the fine print.
readers. I'm talking about. Yeah,
Lorna says, thank you so much. You're so very welcome. Believe me.
yeah.
All right. So we just need to finish up the rest of our diced onions. You can put it a little further over so they can see it.
And I'm getting to the bottom of my eyes. They start burning. Yeah. Woo. At first, when she told me that we were doing spinach soup, I was just like, spinach soup, please. But I trust her, so I know it'll come out okay. Yeah, it wasn't my first choice because I remember having something like that in Jamaica. We had what they call callaloo soup, and when I had that, I was just like, okay, this is different. It kind of tastes like pepper pot. So if this turns out like anything like pepper pot, then that will be cool, right? Because pepper pot is really nice. Well, the difference is that we put like grown provisions in there, like yams and cocoa, or what you guys will call it, edo, in like Guyana or so. But you'll be good. Right, 1 second. Okay, honey's cooked. What else do you need me to do?
All right. So we have it cut. So we're gonna get our pots to cook it in. That's my little pot right over there. So we're gonna be we're gonna add some oil. We're gonna also be cutting some tomatoes as well.
So you're gonna fry the onions first?
The onions and the tomatoes, yes.
Okay.
So I was hoping to get some Roma tomatoes, but somehow when you're getting young, I went into the store, I didn't put it on my list, and I forgot. I saw tomatoes, it didn't even occur to me get some Roma tomatoes. And in Jamaica, and the islands, we call them plummy tomatoes. It's one that's kind of like slender. My sister grows a lot of those. They're kind of, more slender, shaped kind of like the plums over here are round, so that's not a good comparison. But it's kind of shaped, more like an oval, like more like an egg, kind of sort of with a flatter top, right? But that's the Roma tomato or the plummy tomato as we call them. So that's what I really wanted because those types of tomatoes, they have a little bit more starch in them, a little bit more flavor, so they're better for cooking. While these are more juicy, so they're better for just slicing and having like with a salad or something like that. But guess what? We're gonna have to make do with it. So as they say, just work with what you got, right? So that's what I'm doing. So. And usually what I try to do in recent times, they're saying try to avoid the seeds if you can. So I'm going to go ahead and take out some of the seeds out of here. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but they've been talking a lot about things about tomatoes. They're good for you in certain ways. So now we know what I do with my tomato seeds. I grow them. You want to bring your tomatoes and show them? Yeah. Because I did a short video recently and I showed you how we were growing just growing the tomatoes right here on the counter. Matter of fact, you got some peppers under there because we're trying to do a lot more food this year, guys, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing going forward. And my flowers will always be in my videos, always be the main one. So you can show them. I don't want to mess up my hand, so just show them. See, these are his tomatoes that we started.
Okay, let me go like this.
It's okay, they can see it. It's fine. Get it tilted forward. There you go. So there they are coming up. And then I can show you right under here that he has some peppers that are coming up under here. Just from this chicken scrap. So that's what I use my tomato seeds for now. I try not to eat them. Kitchens. What did I say? Chicken? I mean kitchen. My bad. Sorry. But yeah, so these are the peppers right here. We're going to have to put them in some soil maybe tomorrow when we get that chance. So you just put them under the lid right here and that kind of keeps them. And these are just takeout lids, like you do some takeout food. So basically just wet the paper towel, put the seeds on top, put another paper on top, and then we just go ahead and moisten it, cover it with a lid, similar one, and you just stick it somewhere, stick it under there, and we're good to go. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and heat up our oil. Get some of the excess water out of the pot.
You can dry it out. That might be a bit.
No, that's fine. It'll dry out by itself. Don't worry. Don't do that.
Okay.
It's okay. So once it dries out, and always make sure, guys, that you're, before you add your oil, if you're newer to cooking, want to make sure your pot is dry. Don't want, because what causes the oil to pop is if there's water in the pot already, or if you put things in there and those things actually have water in them. Like you're cooking chicken, of course, there's water in the chicken. When it gets to a certain point, sometimes you may hear your chicken popping, especially if it's not breaded, coated with something. And that's just the water in the oil that is making that popping sound.
I tried it out.
Okay. Let me go ahead and add the.
So you see, you're gonna remove the seeds from the tomato.
Yeah, I took them out already. So there they are right here. So, I can't grow that many tomatoes, but we'll see. I'm probably gonna put this in another container right here. And then so this is about, I'd say about 2 tablespoons. And a little bit more. I don't want to add too much oil, but a little bit of oil is good for you. And since this is not gonna be, we're not gonna fry it out too much. Like it's not gonna be too high a temperature. You can use olive oil. If you have like olive oil, you can use that in there as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my tomatoes. Let me take a look at the chat and see what's going on. Hello. RCB Maverick Hunter. He says salutations and greetings. Greetings to you, sir. Welcome aboard. And we have 2 Georgia Peaches. Welcome. We have Andrew's Kitchen Time. She says, hi, guys. Welcome, guys. Very, very happy to have you. So let's go ahead and get this cut up here. So we're just basically dicing these. And this is a time of year, and it depends on when you're ever going to be watching this live video, but this is a time of year when it's cold outside, unless you're in a tropical place. And even in those places, a little bit cooler right now. And we like comfort food at this time of the year. Something that's rich or something that's kind of like warm. It's kind of like a warm hug when you come in from the cold, Or in some cases, it might just be from the cool, but either way. So we're just cutting this up here. Make sure that my oil is still going okay. And that's the thing, guys, whenever you're cooking, don't worry too much about having your stove too high. Especially if you're doing something like I'm doing this and doing something else, because it's better for you to, for it to take a little bit longer to cook at a lower temperature than for you to have it high, and then you have, like accidents and incidents inside the kitchen. All right, so once the oil looks like it's a little more, it's thinner when it's warm enough. That's the point. We go ahead and add in our ingredients. I'd say half of a medium onion is what I put in there, and it's just thought was kind of, and these were vine ripe tomatoes. I like using those. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that in here. And I need that a little bit later. All right, so let's go ahead and stir it around. All right, so we have it cooking down a little bit there in the juices. And it says hi. Yeah, I saw that. We have a runaway strip of onion. And by the way, guys, this is a little bit of a faux pas. You see my sleeves, they're kind of long to be next to the stove. Only thing is, they're not like all the way, like really way down, but they're long enough, So you kind of want to, when you're cooking, try not to wear sleeves like these. Don't follow my bad example. Because normally I don't do that. Normally I have one like my like a short blouse. No, it's fine. I'll be all right. I'm just gonna, trying to set the right example in what I'm doing here. You know, lots of,
Is that enough potatoes?
yeah, it is.
Put on one smaller. Alright. It looks like when I'm cooking ackee and saltfish.
And that's exactly what it smells like, guys. If you've ever cooked ackee and saltfish, like my people from the islands, from Jamaica and other places like that, Guyana, you know, all those other countries. When you start them off, or sometimes the people cook like, because even like I know Deborah Cabasa, when she does come on, they cook I forget what they call it, but they do cook the salted codfish as well too. You know, they fry it up in the onion and tomatoes and all of that. So they do that too. Now, if you are vegan, I mean, you know, you can do this. You don't have to add in any meat or whatever. I was gonna do it the vegan way, which I mean, we may still end up doing it that way, honestly. But my sons, I have been in the house, and my husband are like, "Where is the meat in this recipe?" I'm like, "Oh boy." So he did go ahead and he baked a little bit of some what is it, turkey sausages over there. So I may add them on the top. But you can, you know, cut up chicken if you want and serve it over the top when you're done with this as well. So let's turn this up a little bit more. I don't know why everything is flying away today. These onions are not liking to stay in the pot today.
You need one.
Not from that. I'll be all right. All right. So they're cooking down now. So next one we're gonna add in is our spinach. And this, like I said, this one is the organic one because I like. They talk about the dirty dozen or the dirty dozen. That there's some things that you should try. Can I get the calendar, please? That there's some things you should try to There's some things it doesn't matter if it's organic or not, but they said that there are 12 things that you should try to have those organic if you can. It don't always happen because most times I have potatoes are on the list, and most times I have regular potatoes. So we're gonna put our spinach in here.
So about looks like about 2 cups.
So I'd say about 2 cups. If you really love spinach, you can always add a little bit more, but I think 2 cups should be nice. I'm just gonna rinse those off. And that's a good thing with most of the things that I cook, you know, when I do them, it's basically not like something that you have to do this and have to do that. If you're baking cakes, that's different because you have to have the right proportion of baking powder. You have to have the right proportion of baking powder, salt, and all of that. But most of the other stuff that I cook, guys, you know, I try to make it as easy as I can for you. We basically have them kind of eyeball a little bit. You can adjust it, you know, to suit your preference. It's not like hard and fast. And this is one of those that would be right in that situation there.
Looks like about 2.5 cups.
And be sure to give me a thumbs up, guys. There's 7 of you on, and I only see 2 thumbs up. Hello. You know, I'm gonna mess with y'all a little bit, right?
Do you need to dry these off or just?
No, they're fine. Yeah, they're fine. Just shake it off a little bit, and then I'll just go ahead and add it in here. And basically, we're just sweating the spinach. The little funny ones, and let me take that one out. And that's the thing with spinach; it's kind of delicate.
All right.
I'm gonna try to see if I could grow some spinach this year. I really am. Maybe I'll try some callaloo. I think I maybe might have more success with spinach than callaloo, but we'll see. I don't know. And that's the thing, whenever you are cooking things like spinach, you know, they tend to, you know, because you can see how already the volume of it is going down. It's a lot, you know, less than what we started out with.
Losing water.
It's losing a lot of water, so it's wilting down. And that's what I was saying, like when we're going to be doing spinach dip later, if you want to use a fresh spinach, then you can go ahead and sweat it out this way. But it would just be a little bit of water. All right, so we're getting very colorful right here. See all these beautiful colors right there? You can see all the reds and the greens and all of that. It's so pretty. And it smells really good in here.
Yeah, we clean these up.
I'm gonna use that shortly for the cilantro. I'm gonna add that in as well.
Just clear it off here. Sorry.
No, I want to use it right now. So these are my cilantros, guys. I'm so excited about them.
Sorry.
From my hydroponics garden. Going right inside of my living room. And I'm gonna make some salsa with these. You probably won't see that, but when I tell you that this thing is a prolific producer, I washed them already, so I don't need to wash them again. I'm just gonna cut up a few pieces and put them in there. If you don't like cilantro, my son was telling me, my older son told me, he said that there are some people that have a gene that causes cilantro to taste like soap to them. It was like, okay. Everybody got their thing, I suppose. But so if you're not a person that likes cilantro, you really don't have to put them in there. I like cilantro, and it's very good for you. It helps to clean up your blood, is what they say. And we all need that because there's so many herbicides and pesticides in our food these days. We're almost sweated all the way down the spinach. See how they're looking there? And like I said, guys, if you want to put meat, you can always put meat in there. It just depends on what you prefer. Not yet. You can leave it right there. So we're almost where we want it to be. You can see right there. The next thing we're going to do is to add in our beans, which would be these. Hi, Lorna Smith. Hello, hello, hello. I see Lorna Smith on there. Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've seen you on my live before. So I do want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I should have brought my little bell to ring it because every time I see like a new person on here, usually I go ring my bell. Or at least I clap for you. Something, so at least I can do. He said she's gonna go get the oops, he's gonna go get the dinner bell to welcome you officially to the channel. If you have never subscribed before, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. I do a lot of gardening videos. That's the mainstay of my garden. We also talk about eating things that are grown, whether we grow them or somebody else grew them, to try to have more natural stuff inside of our diet. So I think this is where we want it to be. So it's on low right. Let me just go ahead and wash these off. Time and time again, they tell you that these things that can be so messy, so you should try to wash them off. All right, so let's go ahead and open it up. And in this case, we're gonna go ahead and let me show you what it looks like. Oh, this is for Lorna Smith. Welcome, welcome. That's our newbie. And that's what it's looking like. And you're gonna go ahead and add it in with the juice that's on there. So again, guys, if you've never seen cannelli beans before, I think that's what they call them, how they pronounce it, I mean. These are kind of like white kidney beans. Okay. And this is not like a kidney bean type of recipe, because that's going to be a whole different video. Because trust me, when we make red bean soup, red bean soup, we call them peas in Jamaica. You know, they are beans. That's why we say rice and peas. But anyway, when we make it there, it's very different, because we put like beef in it. We'll put just different stuff like that. I'm gonna add a little bit of we have the little dumplings that we call spinners. You just roll them like that. You make the little dumpling, you roll it, and then you drop it in there. So there you go. So let's turn it up a little bit. It's a little bit higher. I'm gonna add some garlic powder. Not too much. Or you could put fresh garlic in there, which I typically do, but today was one of those days. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll with it.
You're not a bell.
I know, right? Who's bell? Somebody's ringing a bell. Who could that be? All right, so we have that there now. So the next thing to add into it would be our broth. We have If you're, like I said, if you're somebody who doesn't want any kind of animal products, then this would be the one for you. That doesn't happen in my household very often. We can mix them together though, but the first one I'll put in there and just watch the volume of it would be this one, which is the chicken broth.
All right.
And this one says it's unsalted, so I'll need to add the salt to it, to get that flavor. It also says it's non-GMO, which means it's basically that's organic, is what they're saying. So we'll add that on there. So let me go ahead and add it in. And I like when my soups have a little bit of thickness to them. As you can see how the beans are looking, you can see them from over there. I can bring them over for you in just a little bit. Just go ahead and stir it in. Because what I typically do, like if I'm making soups or anything like that, if I have potatoes in there, I mash the potatoes out, some of them, to give it that thickness in there, because I like when my soups are thick and rich. Even if it's in the summertime, I like when my soup is thick and rich. So what I'm gonna do here is once it starts to boil a little bit, I'm gonna take out some of the beans and kind of mash them out just a little bit so it will have that nice thickness to it. Let me just get a little spoon here and see. Yeah, this definitely needs some salt in it because the chicken broth was not salted. Let me go ahead and add some salt. And I like to use sea salt. I don't know if you guys are sea salt people. Some people use like the pink Himalayan salt. It just depends on, what works for you. And as I always say, whenever I'm cooking, I'm using 2 wooden spoons right now. But anyway, when I'm cooking, I always try to not add excess salt. I prefer to have to add salt to my food and have to have it over salted and then try to figure out how I'm going to get the salt out. So that's something I would say bear in mind, especially if you're a newer, like a newer cook, go ahead and do that. So we're just waiting for it to boil up. So it's very pretty. It reminds me a little bit of pepper pot soup, when you have that. And if you like, you can even flavor this with something like, some people, they like smoked turkey necks. Some people, they like maybe just like a strip of bacon or something like that. You could put that in there as well too. And that works really, really well. So let me taste it again. I wash my hands off after I tasted it, so. This needs a tad more salt, just a little pinch. And that should be enough. But just, most cookings, that I do or, that I try to introduce in my live videos, I try to just make the meal as forgiving as possible. So, you make a mistake, it's not like the end of the world. Your meal isn't spoiled. You can still do something with it. So we're having it cook a little bit there. And what I'm going to do now is to take out some of the beans and mash them out just a little bit. Because like I said, I like to have my soup thick. So just a couple of them. And you can use like a potato masher if you want. If you have another spoon, you could use that as well too. Just to show you what it looks like here. Well, let me see. Bruce says, welcome, Lorna Smith. To Georgia Peaches. He's saying hello to everybody. Andrew says, time. Oh, Andrew's kitchen time. Pardon me. Yes, I find the broth needs a little help. Yeah, when you put that in there, because it's kind of thin, so I'm just mashing them out right now. So you can see it right there. We just go ahead and mash it. One of the things about cooking is, the way it tastes is the main thing, of course, but the way it looks is the next thing. And then the third thing is the way it smells. And it already smells so good inside here, I'm telling you. So I really hope that you guys will try this. And it's so full of nutrition. That's the thing, you know, because spinach is so good for you. Remember we used to watch a cartoon,
Not mine.
The Sailor Man, yeah, when you were a little bit, and he always had his spinach, and it helped him out so good. And that was a way to get kids to eat their spinach when you were growing up.
Didn't work for me, man.
But we didn't have spinach. We had like callaloo. We didn't
No.
have spinach growing up, you know. So
This-
that's mashed out enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it in. I'll thicken it up. So it's gonna be nice and thick. So there are ways around it because I'm not a huge fan of cornstarch. I use it very, very sparingly. So if I don't have to use cornstarch, I probably won't.
Yeah.
You know, I'll try to find other ways around it. But sometimes you kind of have to. And if you do, you just use it as needed, you know?
What we got is we got tapioca starch instead, which is way healthier. So I have some if you need it.
That was a recent addition, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's looking very, very colorful over here. And it's very flavorful.
Yeah, but I definitely gonna need some meat in that thing.
He says he wants some meat. But you did have your beef over there. So did you want to add it into it or did you want to just put it in the bowl when you're done? Because we could do it that way.
Just to do that way
Yeah.
because it's a matter of you want to, if someone doesn't have it that way, I don't want to change the color or whatever.
Where is my black pepper? Oh, there it is.
So it's in that way.
Did we have one that was open?
Yeah.
We need to open one. Because this is a newer one. I'm not seeing it in there. Oh, there it is. It's hiding back there. Okay. All right. So go ahead and add in our black pepper. So people have that fancy grinder. You just grind it on there. Well, this is mine. Whatever works for you, as long as it tastes good, right? So we add in our little black pepper there to it. Especially if you have a little bit of an appetite going, this is always so yummy. Coming in and you have this first and then you have your meal afterwards. It's absolutely
This
delicious.
looks like an appetizer because
Yeah, it kind of
like
is.
said,
It kind of is. And like I was saying, you have a lot of game days going on these days, and this, it's a season for that. So this is really, really good to just add it in there and have it.
you want to stick them
And if you want your you can cut the spinach leaves smaller. If you don't like to see the larger leaves in there, you can always cut them and do it that way. And even for this too, I showed you the frozen spinach before. You can use frozen spinach for this too. Just make sure you thaw it out first, because if you just put like frozen spinach in the hot water, it's kind of like tough and it's not, it's not as nice. So you want to make sure that you thaw out your frozen spinach first. Make sure it's come down to, almost room temperature, and then you put it in the refrigerator.
Right.
And then when you're ready to use it, you take it out because you don't want to have it sitting out all day if it was frozen, because that can give you a stomach ache. Food is just so different these days. When you were growing up, the stuff you could do, like the guy would say, he said you could make a potato salad on your picnic. You have it out there at the picnic all day. You eat your potato salad, and there is nothing wrong with you. Now, if it's at room temperature, maybe like for about 1 to 2 hours, all of a sudden you're getting all kind of problems, intestinal problems, food poisoning, all of that, so things have changed, but you got to work with it, right? So you see, did it look good over there that you wanted to put, or if you wanted to like put it on the top when you're done?
Yeah, I mean, well, probably just slice it.
Yeah, so he did this over there, the turkey sausage. We're just gonna slice it and put it on the top when we're serving it.
Yeah, just let me slice up.
So let's go ahead and turn this off and leave it to simmer down there. Alrighty, so let's see what's going on here. So what did Andrew say? Or Bruce says, how would you use Scotch bonnet in this recipe? Okay. Well, for those who don't know about Scotch bonnet, those are the peppers that we use a lot in Jamaica. I don't think I have them right now. A lot of people know about it now, though. In years, I guess we could show them the frozen ones. But basically, it's a very hot pepper.
The other knife.
We have a couple knives over
Not
here.
the button, the other one.
You want this one?
Small
This one?
That one.
Oh, this one. Okay. The paring knife. All right. But yeah, so Scotch bonnet pepper, it can be really, really hot. You really have to know what you're doing. If you're not a pepper person who can stand pepper, you may want to avoid that one because you just need a tiny little piece inside of your food and boom, it is so hot. You start sweating. And that's how I used to like peppers. Like I always said, like before I started having kids, if I was eating the food, like whether it be, curried chicken, curried goat, because we have curried goat in the islands or whatever, back in those days. And if the food, if my nose wasn't going like kind of sniffing, it was like, this is not hot enough. But once I got pregnant, didn't want peppers like that anymore. And then once I had kids, I kind of had to start cooking to suit their needs because it's everything is coming from the one pot. Basically, we kind of always add the pepper to it, but I just didn't really, feel for pepper like that anymore. Now it's more like for the flavors. I just put a little bit, maybe like in a pot of rice and peas or something like that, and then you know I'm good to go with that. So that's pretty much that story right there. So let's set us off to the side.
All right, so here it is.
All right, so he has the these over here. Let me go ahead and just set them in a bowl. He went ahead and he cut the turkey sausages. I'll show you them in just a second. And they were kind of so they have a little bit of a, which I like. It has a little bit of a kind of a roasting color on there. You can see that right there. So a little bit of darkness on there, not too much. Because it was done in the toaster oven. And that gives it a little bit of flavor. If you don't want to have too much of that on your your meats when you're cooking them or whatever. That's more like the caramelized sugar that they put on it. So this is it right here. So I'm gonna set those off on the side and get over here, clean up a little bit. And these are, again, this is my cilantro from my hydroponics harvest, the first hydroponic harvest. If you haven't seen that video, that's the most recent one I did. Be sure to check it out when you get a chance. And if you can share them out, because for gardening channels, we get a little bit, our views go down typically like in the colder months, but as soon as the growing season is about to start, they go pretty much, they go pretty high. So, share them out. Somebody might be interested in growing stuff inside these cold winter months. Let me put this back in the refrigerator to preserve them.
And once you put on paper, all around.
All right, so let me go ahead and get this cleaned up. So we can get onto the piece de la resistance. If I'm saying that right. And that is going to be our spinach dip. And this kind of like is something that you really want. I'll probably try to see if I can link it in the description box because sometimes it's kind of hard to find in the store where you go. Because I typically buy mine at Walmart. I think I bought it at Publix before. But sometimes I'm looking for it. I'm just like, where is it? I can't find it. Sometimes they put it near to the soups, like the packet soups. Sometimes they put it near to the seasonings. I'm just like, where is it? I can't find it, And I'll go around and until eventually I'm like, oh, that's where it is this time. But anyway, this is something that you will definitely need to have for your spinach dip. I'll take out the other ingredients and then we'll get started on that. Let me put this one away. This is keep the garage open.
All right, there you go. You need onions also for this.
Yes, so I will need your assistance. And for this one, we have our spinach right over here. So let me put the soup over to the side.
So this is the frozen spinach you're using, no?
Yes, so I did use the frozen spinach. Let me just start with that again, just to show you if you're just coming in and you just wanted to see the spinach dip part of the recipe, just to show you. So this is what you will need. You will need to have the frozen spinach, or you can go back to the beginning of the video, on a replay afterwards. But this is it right here. It's chopped spinach and it's frozen. See? Chopped. You basically have to make sure that you thaw it out first. And then when it's thawed out, then I was explaining before you put it in a double broiler if you can, like at the top. And I'll show you what it looks like, the double broiler. Put this back for me. So in the bottom of the double broiler, you have your water down here to about halfway and you make it boil. And then when it starts to boil, You're gonna go ahead because this has holes in the bottom. You just go ahead and put it in there like so, and then it's going to cook it through for you, and you make it steam maybe like for about, I'd say, 5 minutes or
10
so.
minutes.
That should be reasonable, but it has to be steaming so it gets a little bit softer. If you're using fresh spinach like we had fresh spinach before, you would also try to sweat them out because you need to have it shrink down a little bit to put it into your mix. So we have this going for us right here, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll need to have you chop up the onions over there for me. If you just use half of an onion, that should be sufficient.
Let's leave the other half. So would you use like red onions in this case? Would that flavor match?
I've never tried red onions before, so I would say just go ahead. Let me tilt it around so they can see what you're doing there. Yeah, I've never tried to use red onions for this recipe before because they're kind of sweet and you want to get that kick. Some people even use they will use green onions, and like we call them scallions sometimes. They'll use those instead. But this needs to be chopped kind of finely because we're gonna have it raw. It's not gonna be cooked.
Oh, so you really want this small?
Yeah. So this is more like minced.
Right.
Instead
Glad
of
you said
diced. Yeah. That's good to know ahead, right?
Yeah. All right, we'll start crying now.
And like I was explaining before, whenever you're doing them, you want to make sure that onions, they say if you start from the bottom, it makes you cry more quickly. So try to start from the top and then work your way to the bottom. If it bothers you, for some people it doesn't. I know for me it does, but sometimes I may be upstairs and my husband is cooking something downstairs. All of a sudden I say, well, my eyes burning me that, and I come down here and he's cutting onions. So I can pick it up that easily. And these are going to be going in there as well too. I have mayonnaise, and you can use any brand that you like. Sometimes I'll use this one. Sometimes I'll use Miracle Whip. Sometimes I'll use, what's the other one again? Dukes as well. And we have our sour cream right here.
So if you don't have sour cream, the mayonnaise alone will work.
Say that again?
If you don't have sour cream, will mayonnaise work?
Well, we have to use both actually. We need to use both the let me show them to you right here so you can see them. We'll need to use both the yes, switch it around a little bit so they can see it.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at the soup, and it kind of reminds me of pepper pot soup.
That's what I was saying. It reminds me a lot of pepper pot, and it's so good for you. All right, so it's getting the onions chopped up in there. And because it's a dip, there are different things that you can eat with it. This is one option. I got some French bread today because I like doing it that way. So we're gonna be I'm gonna put those to toast a little bit inside the toaster oven. And guys, bear that in mind too. The toaster oven is very resourceful. I think my father-in-law was the first one who made me aware, how versatile your toaster oven is. Because I used to just use it when the kids were little for, like toasting a lot of bread, toasting bagel, toasting the frozen. Like Pop-Tarts. I used to like Pop-Tarts when they were a little bit.
Yeah.
When you have a couple of them, you just, instead of using like a 2 slice or 4 slice, you can just put a lot in there and get it done. But then he came and I saw him like making a piece of a chicken. And I said, you're putting the whole, I said, you putting the chicken inside the toaster oven? He was just like, absolutely. And I said, well, I never thought of that. And then I started doing it. So I would, like if I had a couple of wings and we had the 2-rack ones at that time, I just do some wings for the kids, put those in there, bake it from scratch right inside the toaster oven. And it worked out perfectly. So I said, you know what? Yeah. So I don't have to waste the gas or electricity as a case maybe to heat a whole oven, a large oven. Just something like this. You could just stick it right inside your toaster oven.
Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's small enough?
Yes, I think so. All right, guys. And this is what it's looking like right here. But of course, you can make it smaller. If you really want to mince it out, you can. So this is our board right here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slice the. No, there's so much light coming from on that side. Probably the angle of
Lighting.
the angle. Yeah, it's the angle. It's a little bit better now. It was really glaring over there, and I want you guys to see what I'm doing. All right, so we have our French bread. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it cut. That's how it's looking right there. And then, we want to make it look a little bit fancy. So you want to kind of like slice it across diagonally. So, looks a little fancy.
You want to have this exposed to the heat, top and bottom, or just the top only? You want to use it straight?
No, it's fine the way it is right there. I'll just use it like that because I'm not doing a whole ton of them anyway. So we're going to go ahead. That's my little old, I call it now, drip pan or a crumb tray, whatever. Just go ahead and spray it a little bit so the bread doesn't stick. Just grease it around. And then, thank you. He's so helpful. All right. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to slice the French bread. So we'll just go ahead and cut it right here. So you just start off putting it slant like that, and then you follow your pattern. You could even make it more slant if you wanted to. You could get out some carrots for me and some carrots and celery.
Use this one instead.
No, this is fine.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I guess it's good to use the proper knife, the bread knife. So these French bread can be a little tough anyway. That's just kind of like how they are. And these we're not gonna put any butter on there because the spinach dip is gonna be so rich. So we really wouldn't need to do that. And then just to show you the shape of what it looks like when you cut it that way. So this is how it comes out, and that's what we want.
Carrots and what?
I need carrots and celery, and perhaps some of the bell peppers. They're called.
Oh, this size.
That's
too big.
That's good enough. Thank you. And I think what we have there should be enough. Because we're doing different things. Let's go ahead and tie this back.
Do you want the leaves or just the stalk?
Just the stalks. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the pan now. Over here. You see them? If I can get all of them to fit in here, I'm gonna try to squeeze them in so I can be successful doing that.
What do you want? Bigger tree?
Let me take out that smaller one because I just want them to all fit. So this is how it's looking, right? We're gonna go ahead and put it inside the toaster oven over here. Can you see it? Yes, you can. So I need to put these back in the bag that they came from.
Here's a carrot.
These are still good. We're not gonna waste it because I'm probably gonna have them later, or perhaps tomorrow with what is left over there. All right, so how are we doing for time? It's moving along. Thank you. We're gonna be using these, and these are basically called I should say these are called. We use these to make what are called crudites. And crudites are basically just like vegetables, not bite size because they're a little bit bigger than bite size, but they're like hand size is what they would call it, hand size vegetables. And you cut those up, into pieces that are manageable, and you use those to dip them. So we basically will have those, the French bread that we're gonna, we sliced. We're gonna also use some of these as well. So these have been washed. Let me just wipe this off because it's just had the bread on there, so it's pretty much okay to use. All right, so we have our celery here. This is the appropriate knife. So I would say maybe we just cut that part off right here. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. This one's a little cracked. And then we'll basically just cut it down to here. I think this is a reasonable size. It could have been maybe like 3 from this one. And again, it's not a perfect science because sometimes I'll buy, get celery sticks from other places and they're not like all even or anything. So as long as it looks passable, we're good to go with it. All right, so we're almost finished with that part. Let me see how our soup is looking. Looking nice and good over there. All right, so I think that's enough because we don't want too many of it. But if you have a lot of people, then of course you can do a lot more. Just depends on the size crowd that you have that's coming over. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape this off just a little bit. Get those little parts off of there. All right, so I think we're looking nice and clean now. So we'll go ahead and get that started. Making sure you can see what I'm doing. And guys, please be careful with a knife when you're doing these things because you know how knives can be sometimes. If you're not careful, you could get a little trouble from them. So, yeah. All right. Want them thin enough, but not too thin. All right, so we have some pretty colors going there so far. I'll just put these because I'm not going to use them afterwards. And guys, as they say, my mom always used to say, well, I mean, just generally speaking, we would say growing up, waste not, want not. So you might not use it for one thing, but you can put it on. As long as it's still fresh and good, you can use it again for something else. I'm just cleaning up that once I can put it in there. All right, so last but not least, we have our bell pepper. Let's use a red one. Let's do that. Because we already have the green and we have the orange from the carrot. So let's put a different color in there so it's very, very colorful. So we'll use the red bell pepper. And again, guys, trying more and more to encourage, each and every one to try to grow something for themselves. And again, these seeds that are in here, they're very, very good. You can go ahead and sow them. And like we were showing you, I did a short video, like I was saying earlier this week. You can just put the seeds, and let me just show you again. If you're coming on here late, you can just use like 2 takeaway tops. Basically, you put one layer of paper towels, then you put your seeds on there, and then you put the other one on top, and you moisten it, and just cover it with this, and this prevents it from drying out. And then, you'll have your peppers like we do there. Once you get to that stage, you'll want to put them in some soil. And then when they get to be a little bit bigger, maybe like about yay high, you'll want to, like transplant them out, into your yard once the overnight temperatures do not go below 50 degrees. Because tomatoes like warmth. And if it's too cold out there, they're not going to do well. They will be stressed out. So you'll want to go in and just, make sure that your temperatures are correct before you do that. So. All right, so we have some nice colors going there. We have our red. Let me show them to you. We have the red, and we have the orange, and we have the greens from the celery. So it's really, really pretty. Love the colors. You show a little bit more when you turn it that way. The pretty colors of the red. They're kind of like, they're not face up right now. Let me switch them over and show them to you now, so you can see in there now. And that's how they're looking. So our toast coming up over here. Let's see how it's looking.
You put it on 2 or 1, maybe 3.
I put it on bake actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A little slower.
So they'll just be crisp. I don't necessarily want them to be brown or anything. We just want them to be firm enough so we can dip it in and have a nice crunch going with it.
Okay.
All right, so it's going to be time for us to get started with our spinach dip. Let me just put this over here. Let me take a look at the comments here. So Brucey says, for spinach dip, I heard it is important to important for the spinach to be well drained before you add all the sour cream, as it will give it better texture and flavor. Yes, absolutely. And that's what I was showing you. It's a little warm right here, so I don't want to bring it over. The first thing to bear in mind is that you want to make sure that your spinach is cold. So if it's not cold, like say from the fridge cold, at least be cold, like room temperature cold. It should not be warm. If it's warm, it's going to mess everything up. So you always want to make sure about that.
Yeah, it gets slimy.
Yeah, that can happen too. I've seen that happen to someone. They tried to do it and they did not get the right temperature. And that's exactly what happened to them. All right, my people. So let's go ahead and get that part going.
Do you want to put a soup in?
I just put it in one of those bubbles right there. So let me clean up over
You
here.
want to spin it in another bowl. You want it in the salad one. For your salad one.
No, I'll find what I need. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add in our things over here. And again, guys, excuse me, I know I have the long sleeves and I typically don't cook with long sleeves like this. So, and if you check my lives, you'll see that I don't usually do that. This is just one of those days and you just try to make it work. Okay, so we're gonna put our stuff in here now. So we have our spinach over here. And the main thing is, because it got steam, so of course it already had water in it before. There's even more water in there now, so we have to go in and squeeze it out. So we're gonna get the strainer, and I'll show you the one that I normally use. So this is the one I like to use here. It has 2 handles, but of course you can use a regular strainer if you like. And then we'll just go in and put our spinach over there. Where are my spoons? My wooden spoon. Oops. So I'll put it over in here. And again, that's a double broiler, but if you don't have one, you can just boil it in a little bit of water or steam it down in a little water, and then you can do that. So here's what we have it looking like. We're going to go in and press it so that the water is going to come out. You just get your spoon and you press, press, press. And you'd be surprised, you figure there's not a lot of water in there, but there is. You have to get it up, because if you don't, then you're gonna have some problems. So see, I pressed it out, and that's what it should look like when you're done. And then of course we have our liquid. I'm not sure if you can see the liquid that's left back over there. That's some liquid in there. We're gonna go ahead and, I mean, if you're cooking something and you don't want to waste it, you can add it to it, because I could add this to the soup if I wanted to, just to, you know, get those extra nutrients. So that is an option that you have. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that over here for the moment. We'll just rest it to the side. So then comes the creamy part of the recipe, which is going to be from your sour cream and from your mayonnaise. And like I said, you can use whatever type of mayonnaise you have. You can use Miracle Whip if you want. You can use light mayonnaise like I have here. You can use a regular mayonnaise. It just depends on what works best for you. Sour cream and our mayonnaise. Let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. Again, angle this correctly here. So I'm going to go ahead and mix them in this bowl first, so that we can see what I'm doing, and then we just go through it again. If you're not someone who likes to have a lot of, you know, like a lot of fat and stuff like that, then you can always make it a little bit less. So here I'm going to put in, I'd say this is about 2/3 cup. And if you need to add more in afterwards, you certainly can. I'm going to be using 2 different spoons just in case I need to go back. Because again, you know, you kind of have the recipe in mind, but you sort of eyeball it as well too. So if it's not looking to your taste, you can always go ahead and add a little bit more. And for this, I'm going to add in, this is a 1 pound container. It has, what is that, 16 ounces. So we'll take out about half of it and see how we're looking. And then if we need more, we'll go ahead and add it in. All right, so let's leave that one right here. So we have those 2 things in here going so far. Then we're gonna go ahead and add in our onions. Get a knife to scrape it off. Scrape off our onions, and we're just gonna add a nice crunch to it. And some people, they also put like water chestnuts. You can put water chestnuts in there if you like. That's an option that you have. Start mixing it around. It doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but it's coming. Don't worry. And by the way, be sure to give me a thumbs up if you're on here. It helps the live to go out to other people, you know, my replay people, so they can know that it came on and they can get to see it. So be sure to give it one of those. I am looking for my scissors. Let's see if they're over here. There they are. So we're going to go ahead and cut it. And let me show you this again. It's called, this is the brand. No, I'm not promoting or anything, but this is the one I use. It's called Knorr Vegetable Recipe Mix. And it is not the soup. So if you get the soup, you got the wrong one. It needs to say Knorr Vegetable Mix. And then that is the one that you would use. Oh, Andrea says, looks great. Are you talking about the mix so far? Or are you talking about the soup? Okay, so you can see how it looks inside there, just to show you. If you can see it really well. So we're just gonna go ahead. I guess you probably see it better if I'm sprinkling it out this way. So it's just a mixture of, like, you know, dried spices, you know, and herbs, and a few other things in there. So I'll bring it up a little bit so you can see what it looks like. And like I said, what I'll do is I'll pin it like after I go back, because I usually watch my live today after, just to see how everything went. So I'll go back in and pin it tomorrow for you. In the top comments, like this where you can find it. I'll put it in the description box. So if you can't find it in your store, you can always order it online because we can pretty much order so many things online. So just to show you before I mix it around, so that is what it's looking like. You can see the texture, and it has, this spices in there, a couple of dried vegetables in there, like sun-dried tomatoes are in there. There are a couple of green peas in there or sweet peas. There's some onion chips in there and all of that. So we're gonna go ahead and mix it around. Like I said, if it doesn't look as creamy as I'd like it to, I'll go ahead and I'll add in just a little bit more of the mayo and the sour cream. So hopefully you're okay having those two things, the mayo and the sour cream. Because I know some people they don't have anything there. I'm not sure what you could use in place of the sour cream. If you could think of something, then definitely let me know. So that's how it's looking so far. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the sour cream. I'm not going to add any more of the mayonnaise. And I made sure that I know which spoon is which one so it doesn't get messed up. So we're going to go ahead and add in some more. So I'd say maybe about this whole 16 ounces, I'd say maybe about 14 is what I put in here. And for that, I put in about 2/3 cup of mayo. But it's like, again, it's trial and error. You do what works best for you for your taste. And I'll just go ahead and clean the spoons off in here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and mix it in again. And this sounds a lot better already. The richness of it. And so this is a dish you want to do ahead of time. This is not something you want to do on the same day because this is most delicious when it sits and soaks in overnight, I promise you. And I'm telling you guys, if you do this for your people, game day or whatever it is that's going on, little get together, birthday party, whatever the case may be, or just for you and your family, whatever you prefer, they will love this. As long as they can eat all the stuff that's in there. So that's what it's looking like right now. You can see it right there. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our spinach. And that's basically going to be the last of all of this here. And then we just go in and mix our spinach in. So this is a nice way to, incorporate spinach inside of your meals in a way that most people, even if they don't like vegetables a lot, they'll be okay with it. Oh, Deborah Cabasa. Welcome, 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 my dear. I did call your name earlier. I'm guessing did you have itching ears? I called your name way up at the beginning of the live because we were there making a soup. We made cannelli bean soup, and it has spinach in it. I'm gonna share it out in a little bit. But what happened is we went ahead and we were stir frying or sauteing, I should say, the onions and the tomatoes first. And my husband was saying it smelled like when we're about to make like ackee and saltfish in Jamaica. And I was saying we also do like if we're cooking up any little thing, it could be ackee and saltfish. It could be like we're gonna make like saltfish and callaloo or something. It typically smells that way before you start. And I was saying I know that in Puerto Rico, because that's where you're from, that you guys also use salted codfish, but I couldn't remember what they call it, the name of it. So I said, well, if Deborah were here, she would tell me. But you told me one time already, and I forgot. I'm sorry, but you guys, you cook the salted codfish that way, and you fry it up in the tomatoes and the onions, and it's so good. And of course, you also have the saltfish or codfish fritters, delicious. So this is how it's looking right here, guys. I'm telling you, don't let the looks fool you. It is so good. But it's even better when it sits and it soaks overnight. So that's what you want to do. I think I chose the wrong container because I wanted to have a clear one for you guys, and I forgot to get that one out. So That's a little bit unfortunate, and I will have it ready for them.
No.
Not so sure about that one. I wanted to have my little glass bowl. Let me see if I have one in here. We can use this one. I don't have to share all of it because I want you to see the texture and all of that that comes with it. So I'll show you that one.
Use a bigger one if you want.
The bigger one has something in there. No, it's okay. We'll just show them because it doesn't have to be everything in here. So I'll just use this one for you guys. Because I want you to see how it looks. And so you can use like clear containers for your guests and makes it even the more interesting. I remember somewhere I was working, they asked me, they enjoyed it so much. They said, can you go ahead and we'll pay you? They said, because I just did it, you have team potlucks and whatever. Not this was years ago, like 10 years ago. And I took it in for them and they said, oh, it's so good to other girls. They said, could you make some and give to us? And they said, double it. And I said, so you take guys taking home? They said, we're gonna eat it right here. And I said, no, you can't eat all of that at one time. And they said, oh yes, we will. And they did. And afterwards, they're just like, I think we ate too much of it. And I said, yes, because it's rich. It has sour cream, it has mayonnaise. You can't have too much of it. So this is what it's looking like. A lot of
fiber too.
Well, the fiber is really good for you.
Yeah,
the fiber is
too much
good.
fiber. You're gonna pay for it.
And it's so easy to make. The main part is preparing the spinach like I showed you earlier. And if you missed it, you can always go and catch the replay to see how it is. Yeah, I should have gotten my nice little bowl, but it's okay. You can still see it here, and I'll put the rest away later. This probably needs to go in the refrigerator. So just to show you the texture, this is what it's looking like right there. It's so nice and so rich and so creamy. And again, if you want like a little bit more crunch to it, you can put like water chestnuts, which I could have done that. That's another option that you have there.
I got some if you want.
I guess we could if the boys would want to have that in there. I'm not sure. They have water chestnuts when we do like stir fry, chicken with broccoli and just different types of stir fry stuff. So maybe they will, or maybe we'll just put it in part of it since I have split it in two parts. I may do it that way. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start putting out our stuff together because we do have our crudites, as we call them. I'm just gonna arrange it in a little plate so you can see the colors. And just get some ideas of different ways. And then we have the ring around plate, but that's normally if we have a lot of people coming, we're gonna like double the recipe. I'll put it in the center, and then you have all these wonderful things around it. No, we don't have to. So we have different ways that we can have it. Let me show you my crudites. I'll just arrange them for you. So we have the different colors you can see. We have the red, we have the orange, and we have the green. So let's go ahead and arrange them over here.
You want some pita chips to go with it also?
We can put that in something else, or I'll just show them because I don't want to open it and then we have all these things that we are gonna be eating. And I always mispronounce that word. What do you call it? Charcuterie board. I'm probably not saying it right.
I don't know.
Charcuterie board, but people use a lot of those these days. So this would be a good one for it too. You just have your dip out of the side and you put these over on there.
Like cheese board.
You can see what I'm doing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, it used to do, like when I was a lot younger, it used to be like, wine and cheese boards. It'd have like the cheese and the fruits and stuff on there. Although they call it a charcuterie. I may be saying it right. I don't know. Maybe not. But you get where I'm coming from. So you just arrange them real pretty on there, and it looks really nice. And again, excuse my long sleeves. I don't usually cook with sleeves like this. It's got away from me today. So this is what it's looking like. You can see the colors in there, the orange and the red and the green looking so pretty. So that's one option to have with your spinach dip. It's always so delicious. And then we'll go ahead and the toast. And like I was saying, I did not, like brown the toast or anything. I just got them crispy. We just want it to be crispy to dip, put them there. Dip them in and just enjoy it. So there's no butter on there because guys, this is already so rich. You really don't need that on there. So they're crunchy, but there's no butter. And then we just go ahead and arrange them. There's gonna be some overlap. And again, you have like special little plates that are made specifically for these things. So it looks a lot cuter. So we have that and we have that. So you can see those so far. And as my husband was saying a few minutes ago, you can also use like pita chips. Let me show you those. They go really well with it as well too. So you can use these two. I think the pita chips are normally like Greek, but we mix and match these days. We're not so hard and fast in some of these rules that we normally follow. Hope that didn't bother your ears. My crunchy over there. So let me see. So Deborah was saying I just got home and spent the day with my daughter at the mall. Oh, how nice, Deborah. That is wonderful. That is awesome news. And she said, I love spinach. It's so healthy and delicious. Absolutely. And she's saying charcuterie board. I'm probably saying, Deborah, thank you for putting that in there. I know it's spelled, but honestly, the pronunciation is what gets me every time. But you know what I'm talking about because I've seen you do it before too. I've seen yours, right? So yeah. So far we have our things that we can have with our spinach dip right there. And then we have our soup over here. And again, if you just came in, the main thing you'll need to have for your spinach dip is this right here. The Knorr vegetable recipe mix. You'll need to have that because unless you're going to do everything from scratch, you're going to put in like sun-dried tomatoes, you're going to put in garlic powder, onion powder. You can do it that way if you want, or you could just get this and put it in there because we like to keep it quick and easy, as we say. Deborah, you know what I mean? Quick and easy meals. Andrew, you know what I mean? Quick and easy meals. So that's what we try to do. All right, my people. And as usual, the harder part of all of this is always the cleanup afterwards. And then we have our dishwasher. That would be my husband right now. Quite often that's me, or sometimes the kids. Washing up is usually the harder part, cleaning up everything. So I'm going to share out the soup for you in just a second. So, today's meal, if someone is vegan, they could just make the tweaks and this would work out perfectly for them. They don't have to worry that there is any meat in there, or it doesn't even have to be, if you don't want to use like the sour cream or the mayo, you can use whatever, like creamy stuff that you normally use to make them, and you could still do it. But the main thing is to have the mix over in it, and that'll help you out a lot. And the same is true for the soup, Same is true. So this is our soup right here. Let me get my my ladle.
You want to use the?
Where is the ladle?
The one it's in the drawer, or you want to use the middle one? The middle one is too big, right?
Yeah. I'd taken it out earlier. I had
In the
it
drawer.
a few minutes ago.
Right there. Right there. Where your hand is at?
This one?
Yeah.
Did you put it back in there?
The black one?
Yeah, I took it out earlier. Maybe it got washed up with something.
This one. It's right here.
Oh, thank you. Just rinse it off. So we're gonna go ahead and sear our bean and spinach. It's smelling so good, guys. And like I was saying, my husband was saying too, and I thought the same thing when I was making it. And my sister actually is the one who did this first. She did this first. If you want to see how I did it, I would say go back and watch the replay to see the step-by-step on it. And again, I apologize. I know some of you didn't get to come on because we had to restart. or actually weren't starting for some reason. There was some glitch in the system, so we didn't get to start on time today. I hope we didn't get too many people not to come on eventually, but this is it. Let me take up a spoon out of there and show you what it looks like. And it's still nice and warm, and this is what it looks like. And I'm telling you, it smells so good, and it's so delicious. So
Yeah.
good for you. And these are the cannelli beans in here. And if you're not sure what cannelli beans are, those are just white kidney beans. Tastes really, really good. And I did mash out some of them in the water to make it a little bit thicker because I don't like when my soups are too runny. I think this is reasonable consistency, but if you want, you can still mash out more of them while it's boiling, and that way to make it even thicker for you. So you don't have to put in things like cornstarch and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that's the one that we did first. And we were saying, like, if you like, my husband did some turkey. So if you're not into the meats, then you'd stop at this point right here. But if you wanted to have, you like a little bit of, meat in it, because you're like, Mom, what's gonna be the meat in this meal? As I told you before. My husband said this, he says like, so where is the meat? They love meat in this house. I mean, I can slide by meat, not having meat for a little bit, but they're just kind of like, where is the meat? You know how that goes. So anyway, but you can put some of these in there, a little bit of,
Yeah, or if you're vegan, you can do like tofu, that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
that's an option if they want it, because they
Yeah.
might not even
Yeah.
want that.
Just to give it a different texture.
Yeah,
That's
so
all.
those are gonna be in here for those who love the meat. That's gonna be on there. So just to show you everything, that's how it's lined up today. And this is our spinach dip right here. And if you wanted to have toast with it, you can have your toast. I showed you how to slice the French bread to get it to look like this. You can just see it's arranged. It's probably not showing so good from that angle, but it's kind of like a flower going around, kind of like that. So this is nice and crunchy. You can just scoop them out, give them to individual people that want them. And you also have the option of your pita chips right here. And if you really, really, really want to keep it nice and healthy, you get your crudites, Crudites. That's what that would be. All right, guys. So I hope that this helped you to get some nice, healthy meals in. At least two you got today from us right now with spinach into your meals. It's kind of winter time now, so we want comfort food. We want something that's creamy and rich, something that's nice and warm, like a little hug when you're coming from the cold. So hopefully this will help you. Or even if it's game day, you have game day and you want to, have something that works really well for people that's coming over.
Nice
These are
appetizer.
very, very good appetizers. And this, they come in, they're cold. This is going to help them. The soup is going to help them really, really good. And it, gets the gas off if you want to, get gas off,
Right.
burp or whatever. It helps. And it's a nice, long, refreshing. Because like my husband is saying, so what drink are we going to do? Because quite often we'll serve drinks with what we cook on here most times. But I said, this is so nice, so many good flavors going on. We'll just go ahead and just have water with it. But you can have, juices with it as well, too, if you like. So that's our soup right there. And that's the other stuff. But it's going to come on over like we usually do. And guys, share this up because, like I said, we had some issues earlier. So I think some people maybe, got confused and didn't get to come on. So you can share it out with them. And I'll do that as well myself, too.
No, that's really.
Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and let me take it. Oh, Carol Moore just came on. Oh
Where's
no.
Carol?
Hi. She said looks delicious. I almost missed you. Thank you so much for coming on. So
Oops.
this was the soup that we had first. I don't know how long you've been on there, just to show you. It is so good with the cannelli beans in there and all of the things I do. I try to keep them as simple as possible that your family will enjoy and your friends that come over. So we'll just pose for a picture like we usually do. You can slide on in.
Yeah.
And again, share it out, guys, with those who didn't get to see it. Careful of that soup back there.
Yeah, sorry.
They can't see your face.
I know.
So this is it right here, your spinach dip and your crudites. So guys, remember to check out the videos. I put one out every Thursday for you. If you don't get a notification, go ahead and check it out. It is there, unless I'm sick. That's the only way you won't get one. Otherwise, or something really, serious happening, right? You'll get them. So if you don't get the notifications, go and check them. I try to put them out every Thursday for you. They're in there. I want to thank you so much. And I wanted to say again, Lorna, she was on here earlier. I'm not sure if she's still on with us right now. She did lose her mother recently. So she's in our thoughts and prayers. Keep her in your prayers, guys. If you know, she's been on the chat often enough. So if you know her otherwise, be sure to reach out to her and just, say your prayer for her. It's a tough time losing your mother. Y'all know I started this channel specifically in memory of my mother on Mother's Day in 2019 because she was such an avid gardener. She was a great cook. She was so good at so many things. She was like, they say jack of all trades. She was kind of like master of so many trades. She was a
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
talented woman. So I started this on Mother's Day in 2019. If you don't believe me, you can go back and check the start date of this channel. That's the day I put my first video up. So because it was tough, it took years for me to kind of level out a little bit. And when I got to that point, I started the channel. So I fully understand. So please keep Lorna in your prayers. If you know her, check upon her just to
Yeah.
see how she's doing. And again, we thank you so much. Andrew said, yes, I do. Deborah says, good night, everyone. Love pita chips, love
Yeah.
spinach. Thank you all so much. And thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take care and God bless you all. Love you guys. Bye.